Previously on Yoga Vasistha. Rama now had the foundation: dispassion, discrimination, the 6 inner disciplines, the burning desire and self-effort. He was ready. Vasistha began the deep teaching with the most radical question a teacher can ask a student.
Tell me, Rama, what do you think this world is? Where did it come from? And who is experiencing it?
The world, Vasistha said, appears within consciousness, the way a dream appears within a dreamer. You are not in the world. The world is in you. To show Rama how consciousness creates worlds, Vasistha told the story of Queen Lila.
Queen Lila and her husband Padma lived an impossibly perfect royal life. They ruled a prosperous kingdom, sharing a bond that was strong enough to outlast the world. But that perfection bred anxiety. The queen realized that eventually one of them would die before the other. Driven by the desperate need to preserve their reality, she began a relentless search for physical immortality. Through intense devotion, she prayed to Goddess Saraswati.
O Divine Mother, grant me 2 boons. When my husband departs from his body, let his soul remain in the palace, and whenever I pray to you, let me see you.
Goddess Saraswati granted these 2 boons and disappeared. The inevitable arrived. Padma was gravely wounded in the battlefield and died shortly after returning to the palace. Following the goddess's instructions, Lila covered her husband's body with massive amounts of fresh flowers. She was inconsolable. She knew her husband's soul would be in the palace as promised by the goddess. She couldn't feel his presence. Grief-stricken Lila then invoked the goddess.
Goddess Saraswati, please, tell me where my husband is. Your husband's consciousness has not gone far, Lila. It has created an entire new world, and it lives there now. Would you like to see it?
Before taking Lila anywhere, Goddess Saraswati systematically guides Lila's consciousness to step out of its limited dualistic perception. She explained that reality is not one thing, it has 3 distinct layers. To travel through these spaces, Saraswati gave Lila a precise meditation technique. She taught her to withdraw consciousness from the physical body to the subtle body, in which consciousness can move freely through mental space.
Lila, simply stop insisting that you are a body. Rest in the awareness that observes the body. From there, you can go anywhere. First space is Bhutakasha, the space of physical existence. This is the world we see, touch, taste and move through. Solid. Convincing. The first and most obvious layer of reality. Everything you can touch exists here. But Lila, ask yourself, where does this physical world appear? In what space does it arise? Chittakasha, the space of the mind. Here thoughts, memories, dreams and emotions exist. Every experience you have ever had lives here. Your grief for Padma is here. Your entire life has been lived here. Even when you were walking in the physical world, you were experiencing your mind's version of it. And beneath both, Chidakasha, the space of pure consciousness. This is not empty space. This is the space in which both the physical world and the mind appear. It has no boundaries. It was never born and will never die. Everything arises within it. Nothing disturbs it. This is what you truly are. This is not somewhere you travel to. If you give up all thoughts, you will, here and now, attain to the realization of oneness with all, by my grace.
In their subtle wisdom bodies, Lila and Saraswati rose together, through the physical world, into the mental space of consciousness. And there, within what appeared to be empty space above the palace room, Lila saw something that stopped her completely. There was an entire kingdom, complete with its own history, its own people, its own seasons. And ruling it was a young king named Viduratha. He had Padma's face, but younger, vibrant, completely alive. He had no memory of Ayodhya, no memory of Lila, no memory of dying. All of it arose from a single Sankalpa. A dying man's last intense wish to continue. The mind created this world as naturally as a flame creates light. Then Saraswati showed Lila something that shattered her understanding of time completely. In Viduratha's world, decades had passed. Battles had been won and lost. People had been born and died. A full reign had unfolded. But back in their palace room in Ayodhya, only moments had ticked by since Padma's death.
Lila, time is not a river that flows at one speed for everyone. Time is a quality of consciousness. Different worlds run at different speeds. In the space of one breath here, a lifetime can be lived elsewhere.
And there was another Lila. Viduratha's queen, the same face, the same voice, but a completely different person. She had never known Padma, never known Ayodhya. She was living a complete life in a world that the original Lila's husband had unknowingly created. Two Lilas. Two worlds. One consciousness dreaming both.
She looks exactly like me. But she doesn't know me. She doesn't know any of this. Is she real?
Saraswati then took Lila one layer deeper, into the past life of Lila and Padma that had created everything.
Lila, this is where your story truly begins. Not with Padma. Here, in this simple courtyard. With a dying man's last unfulfilled wish. This is the power of Sankalpa at death. The last thought of a dying person becomes the seed of their next reality. He wished to be a king, and so the entire world of King Padma arose from that one wish.
The Brahmin had lived a good and simple life. But in his dying moment, through the window, he saw a royal procession. And in that last moment, with the full force of a dying man's concentrated consciousness, one thought arose, intense, burning, unresolved. I wish I had been a king. That single thought, held with that intensity at the moment of death, projected an entire universe. Lila now saw it completely. Her entire life, the palace, Padma, her love, her grief, was a dream projected by a dying Brahman's wish. And within that dream, Padma had died and projected another world, Viduratha's kingdom. Dream within dream within dream. Each layer completely real from inside it. All of it, from the outermost, pure consciousness.
Then none of it was real? My love for Padma, my grief, was that also just a dream?
Your love was completely real as experienced Lila. The grief was real, the joy was real. A dream can bring real tears and real laughter, you know this. What was not real was the belief that it existed independently, outside consciousness.
Then the story converged. Viduratha was struck in battle. As he died, his soul essence, like iron filings drawn to a magnet, began moving. Drawn back toward the flower-covered body in the palace room of Ayodhya. Towards Padma, towards home. In the palace room in Ayodhya, where only moments had passed, Padma's body stirred. His eyes opened. He was alive. The two streams of consciousness, Padma who had died and Viduratha who had lived decades, had converged back into one. Two Lilas, two worlds, one story, all returning to a single point. Having traveled through layers of dream, through parallel worlds, through past lives, through time itself, Lila understood. Not intellectually. All the way through. Birth and death were transitions within consciousness, not endings. The world was an appearance, vivid, meaningful, real as experience, within the one awareness that had never been born and would never die. She was free. Parallel Lila had just lost Viduratha. She had a boon from goddess Saraswati to travel to the same realm as her husband Viduratha in her very own body. Drawn by the same consciousness current that revived Padma, she arrived at this palace she had never seen. She saw Queen Lila, they looked at each other. The same face. The same voice. The same love for the same man. Queen Lila had travelled through the layers of the dream and recognized what she was. Other one had just arrived at the very threshold where that journey begins.
The original Lila returned to her life. Same palace. Same Padma. Same duties. Nothing on the outside changed. And everything on the inside changed completely. She still loved him. But the love no longer came from fear of losing him. She still lived in the palace. But the palace no longer contained her. This is what liberation looks like from the outside. Almost identical to an ordinary life. And from the inside, the difference between a prison and an open sky. The story of Queen Lila was complete. And in the corner of the same room, the next Lila's story was just beginning. Vasishtha finished the story of Lila and waited. Rama was silent. He had followed every layer, the grief, the journey, the parallel worlds, the past life, the reunion. And somewhere in the following, the teaching had landed.
Liberation does not change your life, Rama. It changes what you know yourself to be while living it. That is the only change. And it is the only change that matters. The world did not create you, but you, as consciousness, are creating the world. Right now. In this moment. This conversation, this hall, this body you sit in, all of it is appearing within you, not the other way around. You are not the dreamer who is lost in the dream. You are the awareness in which the dream appears.
So let us see the whole journey together, from the very beginning to right now. Brahma arises within Chidakasha as Mahat or the cosmic intellect. Brahma's consciousness with his pure intention, his Sankalpa alone creates the lokas, the prajapatis, the deities, the rules and the laws of existence, all appears within his one consciousness. Just like waves appearing in an ocean. Maya and the Kanchukas are the cosmic filters, sheaths, and contractions that forcefully narrow that infinite light down, so a jiva can inhabit a specific physical identity. Only a being with vast consciousness accrued across lifetimes and a singular, intensely held desire at death can project a new world. Most lack these conditions and are drawn by karma and habits into existing worlds instead. Once inside a world bubble, the soul takes on a suitable body, has experiences, builds karma, feels joy and suffering. And somewhere in all of that, in a world exactly like ours, a being stopped, sat still, looked inward layer by layer, and recognized what they had always been.
Yatha jalan jale kshiptam. Tarango varini sthita. Tathatma paramatmastha. Katham bhinno bhavishyati. Just as water poured into water. Just as a wave existing in water. In the same way the individual self exists within the Supreme Self. How can it ever be separate?